Deciding whether or not to commit. Deciding whether or not to commit. I do have a video.
Deciding whether or not to commit, right? One of the challenges that we see is that when you gave the example of the property and you were speaking of the home's value increasing over time, i.e., gaining equity, right? Accumulating equity. You're not so dissuaded by the market conditions now because you're thinking long term. We talked about that before, investing and holding. But that is not the society we are in. The society that we are in now is the upgrade culture. Okay. I have a perfectly good iPhone 12, but I'm on the every year upgrade plan. So when the iPhone 13 drops, I'm going to get the 13. Oh, the iPhone 14 just dropped. My phone is working just fine, but it's something new and shiny over here. I'm on the upgrade plan. So the average individual that we would be speaking into right now is not thinking about holding on, even though the conditions are rocky right now, till things get better, till we work it out, till we develop and mature. No, I want it to be right now. I don't want you to ever leave your laundry on the floor. I don't want you to ever not call me back. I want you to text me back as soon as I text you. And then when you don't, no, you're not the one. I'm going to just move on. And so when we say, when is it time to commit? First of all, we have to get out of the upgrade culture. If this person has pre-qualified and they have then qualified, you have to understand that they have shown that they have the values, they have the experiences, they have the characteristics to be with you.
All right, here we go, y'all. Deciding whether or not to commit. I'm going to go to you first, Balance. What are your thoughts about that?
You gonna go to me first. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yeah. I mean, this is a day and age that we're in. I call it the microwave society. We want everything now, immediately. When it doesn't go our way, we want to just be on to the next. And it's really sad as a culture that this is what we have come to, because all we see is the kids suffering. I say this all the time because it's true. People cannot stick together with anything. If they don't like a relationship, a job, a location, anything, they're just gone. They don't know how to stick things out, how to work things out anymore. So it's like deciding whether or not to commit. I didn't really hear that too much in the actual clip you played, but in my opinion, if you can't figure it out within the first 30 days, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing, because for me, it doesn't really take that long. It doesn't take that long to spend time with somebody, to talk about things, to see if you have the same goals and admirations, to see if you could build with somebody. If you can't figure that out within the first 30 to 60 days, I don't really know what we're doing. Commitment shouldn't be that hard. It should not be that hard. And I think people should learn to commit, because all we see today is a whole lot of situationships constantly, and people are on to the next within a few months, and they're on to the next. I've seen it with people I follow on social media. They're in a relationship and then they're not, and then they're in a relationship with the next person and then they're out. And I'm like, how are people doing this? So for me, it's just taking the time to learn that person, to see if you guys could build together long term, to see if you have the same long term goals, and then commit. It shouldn't be that hard. People are just like, I have all of these options. Look at Instagram. Oh, this girl, this girl, this girl. Women, men do the same thing alike. They're like, it's so many options that I don't have to stick to one. And that's the problem. So if you actually want something long term and a long term commitment, commit. Like, stop thinking that the grass is going to be greener somewhere else, because that's what I think people are falling into all the time. So I mean, for me, it was not hard. It's not hard. We got the same goals. We could build together. Let's do this and stick it out. Even if we have a fight, we work through it, talk it out, stick it out, keep going. So it's not complicated, but today's generation makes it really, really complicated, unfortunately. But I don't have that problem. But yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Luis. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Honestly, I agree with her. I mean, I think today, and this is like consumerism kind of society, we tend to kind of treat people like products. Some people do. We get into relationships. We don't take the time to understand who they are, what their value system is, their upbringing, and, how you complement each other, right? I think it's just like very transactional at times. And it's like, well, they do this or they have this, and we don't really latch onto those values, things that hold us down. And a lot of people don't communicate effectively, right? They listen, but they don't effectively communicate because they're not really, shown how to do that, right? And I think we've kind of glorified this like onto the next, as opposed to kind of really understanding why the relationship isn't going the way they are, or taking the time to kind of know that person. It's pretty much a microwave society. It's kind of recycling people. Oh, and this last thing I'm gonna say, the perceived notion of options, right? People have this inflated idea that they have options. You might have options, but really, which are that whole pool of people are really the quality individuals that you really want to take the time to get to know and really spend time and be in community and proximity with, right? There's very small finite, but we're so in a chokehold about having this entire pool of access to people that is really, holding a lot of people back from being in fruitful relationships that could lead to marriage and long-term commitments.
All right, Curves, what are your thoughts about it? Deciding whether or not to commit.
There's so much to unpack here. I really don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. But I guess I'll start with, like, we really do live in a swipe left society. Everybody is just like, social media has really jacked us up. People feel like they have more options than they do. I don't like you, swipe, and people are not really properly taking the time to get to know each other. You're not asking the right damn questions. And you're like to me, I feel like you have to ask yourself, like, can I see myself doing life with you? Do I want to deal with you on the hard days? Because shit is not always going to be sweet. It's not always going to be like, oh my God, I want to kiss you. I said, we're going to have some rough moments, but do I still want to deal with you when we are going through those rough patches? So for me, I just feel like I know whether I want to deal with somebody really fast. Like, it really only takes a few conversations. I don't need months. I don't need weeks. I literally know if you're quick, it's quick. Because I'm very intentional with the questions I ask. I watch, I read body language. I'm not going to waste too much time with nobody. So, and if I do see it there before I was in a relationship, if I go on a date and I see that we're not compatible, or it's not going to go anywhere, all right, cool. It was nice, but I don't see that, you know what I mean? So I feel like people waste too much time, and people let sex get in the way. People are having sex way too soon. People aren't getting to know the people that they're sleeping with. And then you get blinded by the booty and blinded by the meat. And before you know it, you all caught in this entanglement. And you trying to figure out why y'all fighting all the damn time, because you were never supposed to be together. Y'all just like the sex. So that's how I feel about it. Like, ask the right damn questions. Take the time. Look in these people's eyes. Stop just getting all hee hee hee. Sometimes people be so key. You're not doing the right things. You're not moving properly. And that's what it's all about. And I feel like when the right person comes along, you're going to know. And that shit doesn't take very long to figure out. Because our spirits speak. It's not just about a physical thing. Oh, do we do this? Do we do that? Like, how do you feel when you're around them? Do you feel safe? Do you feel protected? Do you feel loved? Do you feel like you can do life with them? These are feelings. These are things you can't really see. So, is your spirit right? That's it.
You can't expect me to take you seriously.
Go ahead, Chicago Rilla.
Nigga.
Decide whether or not to commit.
Curve said, our spirit speaks. No, that's right, girl. You tell him. I would be remiss without at least acknowledging, my generation. I'll be 49 this year, and the role that we play. So when y'all speak about what society is, right? Y'all speak about the way that society is. Well, I think back to the reason why a lot of these kids, a lot of these younger generations, especially in our community, they have no respect for nothing. So then, like, if you say deciding whether to commit, what are they committed to? Who are they committed to? They're not committed to family. They're not committed to marriage. Marriage is on the decline. You in the culture where, keep it a bean. My generation, Generation X, kind of laid the groundwork and the blueprint to objectify, commodify women, and women have done the same thing to men, the exact same thing to men. You reduce a man to his wallet, men have reduced women to their cat. So what you think finna happen with these shorties? And then, anyway, I think somebody said it earlier, how easy it is to get sex. So what am I committed to? I'm not committed to community. Again, I'm not committed to the idea of family, right? So once we start there, then we can begin to have this conversation and really begin to build from there, right? But to me, I agree with the ladies. When me and Boothang started talking, but I think our level of age and maturity had a lot to do with the way this conversation went. But when me and Boothang first started talking, man, it was a no BS conversation. it was a come to Jesus, like, what you on? You still out here running around playing game? Nope. What about you? You out here doing this? No. Well, what you want? Man, this is what I'm looking for. Well, how about you? What you want? But this is what I want. Hey man, let's make it happen, Captain.
Right. Really, so how long did that take?
Really, you preaching?
It was fairly quick. It was fairly quick. We argue
what's the time
about
frame?
I say within 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
We argue over the days when we actually, but the conversation from the moment we first started talking, it went fairly quick. We had to come to Jesus. I think because I was living in Detroit at the time, and one time I drove here to see her. And so it was within 30 to 45 days, actually. It was in 30 to 45 days. So it was fairly quick. But here's the other thing, and I pass it. You gotta be intentional. I knew I was coming out of a situation, and I knew I wanted to be ready to go into another. So I was intentional about doing the self-work for me to prepare myself to be in another situation. So when my lady presented herself, I knew exactly who she was, it wasn't no denying. That's why things moved quickly when we got into our relationship. And so you got to be intentional. Most people's intentions is to city girl summer, hot boy summer. You know, they got the game effed up, fam. You out here slut monkeying, sleeping around, turning all these women out, and then complaining about these women being turned out. And for the streets, will you create more women for the? And the same thing with the women. Y'all complaining about these men, but y'all giving them easy access.
I think it's kind of easy to tell who's who, though. And this is just my opinion, because if I see somebody's moving like that and they're at the club every weekend, and they're not on what I'm on, I'm not going to pursue that person. So people are like, it takes longer than that. I don't think so, because I can tell from the conversations that we're having. I could tell by where they are in life and what they're working on in life. Like, where is their attention? Are they sitting down watching Housewives every day and going to the club every weekend and drinking every night?
Right.
And smoking every day? Or are they building a real foundation? Are they buying property? Or like, what are they investing in? Like, you could tell by conversation. I don't know.
Just by their daily habits.
You could distinguish that when you get in your 30s. I think for people in their 20s. So my question to you would be, okay, so what about they're not going to the clubs, but they're at the art museum? Can you distinguish then?
It's about conversation, though. What
I
are we
agree with
talking
you,
about?
But you know how people say, oh, they had their representative show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I agree with you. Like, you know, the obvious are the obvious, right? You know, pants sagging, you know what I'm saying? Hat cocked, dookie gold chain on, you know, yo, baby, yo, what's up? Shout it what your name is. That's easy, right? But then how do you sift through the pretenders?
Go ahead.
It's between your conversation and your discernment. And a lot of people don't have no damn discernment. They don't know what the hell they're looking at past what's coming out your mouth. I don't care what's coming out your mouth. I can read your spirit, and I don't care who you are. That's all. That's all I need.
Can you break that down when you say discernment? Some people may not know what that is.
Okay, discern. Oh, dang, I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of like it's pretty much like a spiritual. It's like a spiritual, like knowing. Just all right. Let's say it's intuition. Let's just say it's like an intuition. Like when you have a gut feeling about something, you like, I'm not sure about him or her, whatever it is, and then you decide to go against your intuition, and then later on you find out that they ain't shit, and then you like, dang, I knew they won't shit. That was your intuition. That was your discernment trying to rise up, but you ignored that shit. So that's the best way for me to explain it. But
so discernment is like your intuition.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a little deeper than that, but I don't really have time to explain the spiritual side. Like, it's kind of like explaining spiritual things to people who have a carnal mind. It's kind of hard to explain, because
I mean, wouldn't it be fair? Wouldn't it just be fair to just say that it's people's ability to show up consistently? If the person that you're talking to is all over the place, you know what I'm saying, and it isn't
but some
consistent.
people are good. Some people are good at it. Some people are like really, really good carnal. It's like they will have you thinking their life is completely different than what the hell it actually is. And if you can't decipher and see through all that BS, like, you know what I mean? Not everybody is messy with their shit. Some people are sloppy with it, and some people are really good at it, at their representative.
So what if you misread that spirit?
What do you mean? What if I misread it?
I mean, they could be good at hiding the spirit too. They could be hiding the good spirit. You know what I'm saying? And then they just, not putting out that they not putting out that bad spirit. They containing that bad spirit in a box over here, but that good spirit is all at the front. So what's the damn difference?
So I haven't ran into that yet.
Oh.
I haven't been wrong yet.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
really?
I haven't, but no. I messed up. No, the only time I'm gonna be real, because there's no cap over here. I've been in situations where I've ignored shit, and I'm like, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm overthinking it, and I ignore it, and then it turns out to be what I already thought it was in my gut at first, and then later on I'm like, dang. So now I don't. If I feel something, that's just what it is. I don't question it, because when I do question it, I end up being like, you know what I mean? So you trying it.
I will say that, like,
shout out to the spirit queen, baby.
If a person is lying, they cannot keep it up. They cannot consistently lie. Like, it will show. And for example, I think people are impatient. Like, they want to jump into the bed. And I'm being like, if you could not have sex with this person, take your time and just learn them as a person and an individual and stop jumping into sex with them, see what happens. See if they stick around. Just be patient enough to see if they can consistently just keep talking to you, keep dating you, courting you, whatever it is, and you're not having sex with them. If they can continuously do that, because if they're lying, they're going to disappear on you so fast that you just have no idea.